This is the video where I read 3 different books. A book I loved, cannot stop talking about, will recommend to anyone that will listen. A book I hated, that I just don't see the appeal for at all. And then a book I didn't even finish. So here's that video. Oh my god, thank you for stopping by and welcome to the channel. This is the RM Seneca channel, the P is silent Seneca. The point of this video is really just to read like 3 books maybe. One of the books I'm making a decision if I want to DNF or not. One of them is Good People. The other is Misconnection by Miss Tia Williams. I have to say this. The cover of Misconnections is terrifying. I don't like it. Every time I see it, I get a little bit terrified. And it's not good to me. Is anybody else a little freaked out? Is that not a freaky looking cover? I am not a romance girly, but I will be rating it off of what I rated my previous romance books on, which is like, do they have Disney Channel-esque dialogue? Is it predictable? Does it like lack social commentary? I think I forget. And then my third book, I'm just gonna have to find. I'm just gonna go around and find out what we're reading. So yeah, I gotta finish my laundry first because my in-laws are currently hanging out with us. Whenever I have time for reading after my in-laws are gone, maybe we'll do a bit of that. What are you reading right now? Thriller, romance, romantasy, lit fic. Every time I do like what's everybody's reading, it's typically lit fic, which I love because I feel like I got some classy bitches up in here. Shout out to you classy bitches. Okay. So, because I just turned 27, my mother sent me a gift of little book themed things, and within the gift, I don't know why, because of anything, but within the gift there were a bunch of these little stickers, and I got just a few stickers. Look. hold on Comment your favorite down below. I want to add more little stickers here. Ew! Oh my god, she's embarrassing me. Stop it, she's embarrassing me. It makes me sick. Anyway. wait. Yeah, I guess I don't have anything else to say. I'm just gonna have fun with my little stickers, my little bath of stickers. Oh my god, that's the cutest girl in the world. Oh my god. Brethren, we are gathered because I was about to open and read this, and I just realized I don't have the interest required to get me through this. Like, not another page, not a chapter. I can't. I'll have to push through, and I really don't feel like pushing through. I want to be like excited to open a book and finish it. And okay, so I don't know if I described what is happening, but this is I feel like it's kind of it's an ongoing investigation into what happened into the Sharaf family. So you're getting a bunch of perspectives from the family friends, and then also sources that are trying to investigate, like see what the heck happened with the Sharaf family. I think one of the Sharaf family members, I think it was the girl, died, and they're trying to get as much information as possible, and it's kind of an exploration of like identity and how we see the Sharaf family, and then also just like culturally. I believe it's a larger conversation of ethnically, religiously. I don't know. Personally, I have to put my analytical glasses on, and I just don't have them. The prescription is not strong enough. So I've just decided that I'm going to soft DNF this. I will come back one day when I'm feeling the need to just simply analyze. I have a little bit too much humor, a little bit too much giggle in me right now. I think I'm going to read a lit fic, maybe. Something with humor, wit. I'm really resisting the urge to do a thriller because I just did a couple thrillers and I want a little more substance. So yeah, I'm gonna scoop my little butt onto Libby. When you guys decide that you want to read another book and you don't know where to go, or you don't know which book it's gonna be, do you go to Libby, your TBR, or like to get a recommendation either from like a friend or like BookTube or Book Talk or whatever? I always go to Libby first. I don't know what the heck that is. I think it's just kind of exciting to just see what new stories are out there for me to find. But it'll be like after a while of scrolling Libby, I'll be like, we have books at home. Like we have our own TBR. And then I'll go into my camera roll, which is where my TBR is, and be like, let's see if anything wets the whistle. And then typically I go back to Libby, and then from there I choose a book. So let's go to Libby, see what we can find. I am gonna aim for doing one on my Kindle because there is just something so deeply satisfying about reading a book on a Kindle as opposed to one physically. Like, I don't really want to go to the library because I kind of just want to do one like this and then through audio and then whatever else one. Maybe I'll just keep it to two. Who the heck knows? So we got a little bit more profesh because I wanted to pick out a book together. We're on Libby. Hold on a second. I'm going to screen record and we'll go through all the books. I really have no specific order in which I look at Libby. I just go through the releases. I just do. It's crazy. Let's. I'm scared. Sometimes I do popular, but I'm trying to really expand my palette. I'll do available now because, duh. Let's see. Strangers by Bella Burden. That's just one of those books that, like, I for some reason, like, there's nothing against it, but I just really don't feel like falling into the hype for that one. There's no way 70,000 books are going to be available. Okay. Brother, getting flustered out of nowhere. Oh my god. Okay. So I'll go through like Atmosphere. Everyone is saying that that one's going to be so good. I read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book before and I found it to be good, but not to the level of hype that it was getting. So I'm like, y'all are lying about Taylor Jenkins Reid. Just kidding. Not lying. Exaggerating a bit. But I don't know. I one day will do Hunger Games series, me and my husband for sure, once we finish our current series. All of these are like in a series. I should have just chosen standalone. Honestly, is that gonna change the game if I do standalone? It's gonna go from like 70,000 to like 3. Oh, 49,000. Hello. Fiction. I'm sorry, how are there 10,110 titles? And then you go to African American fiction is 203. That's the thing is like you go down to fiction and it's like that's too broad. But I mean, hey, at least we're not getting any like memoirs or whatever. Should I read The Martian? No. Based off literally nothing. I should have chosen like, can you do like a humor? I feel like you can do it, but I swear to God, when you're looking for a humorous book, you just find stupid little stories that are annoying. I want to find something that's not just drama. The book I'm choosing is going to shock you because it's not in line with anything I'm saying at all. Pachinko? 4 generations of a poor immigrant family fight to control their destiny in 20th century Japan. I just know I'm not in the mood for it. Like, I think I should put this on my TBR. I think it is on my TBR, actually. Best offer wins. This looks like it'll be fun. Okay, this is mystery thriller. 18 months and 11. Whoops. No, yeah, I can start from there. I really was too tired to actually do this well. I'm so sorry that I'm not actually reading it, but pause if you do want to read. But honestly, I kind of am like, I wish I could read another book like Intermezzo. Seriously. I need to speedrun this for real. Okay. So I did end up reading one full description, but my voice was so sleepy that I'm not going to put you through that. Essentially, this book by Kate Fagan, it's her debut novel about this woman named Kate K, who is the voice of a generation successful author. Apparently, Kate K doesn't actually even exist. She comes from a very rough background and wants to escape her humble beginnings with her best friend, but there's something that cuts their adventure short. I think it's exploring like she has a dark past or something to be ashamed of that she's growing through and kind of carving her identity out as she wants to chase success, hence the 3 lives of Kate K. So it intrigued me, but there was something that did stop me from reading it. After all this looking through lists and saving something, I have decided to read a book that I had on hold this whole time, literally for like 50 days. You can suspend things in Libby. I decided to suspend The Glass Castle, and it's always been intriguing to me, but I just never like was in the mood, I guess, to borrow it, and so here I am. Okay. Oh my god, I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, quiet on set, please. Quiet on set. Glass Castle thoughts and first impressions. I'm going to try to go as long as I can because I think my mic is dying. I'm not quite sure. I will try to give speed thoughts about my first impressions. If something happens, just know there might be like a change of scenery or environment or whatever the heck. This is a memoir by Jeanette Walls. And the basic premise is that Jeanette grew up in a very dysfunctional family, being raised by an alcoholic father, a nomad free spirit mother, and they cannot stay in one place for like more than like a few months to a year because they get into several shenanigans forcing them to move. The mother has no plan on living a normal, stable life, and the father is very much fueling that fire. And so all of these stories that are being told are told from dysfunction, poverty, chaos. The things the Walls family has gone through, even though this is in a completely different decade, if they were children in the early 2000s, they would have a Netflix documentary focused on all of the craziness that went on in their childhood. I'm finding that I have a certain fascination with books that are centered on dysfunction, specifically through the eyes of a child. My favorite book in the whole entire world is Demon Copperhead. That's the most dysfunctional upbringing anybody could ever have. And I think that it's because when you come from dysfunction and you're experiencing poverty, it provides such sharp social commentary, especially from the eyes of a child. They're describing very basic things that, as an adult with hindsight, you can see how problematic and horrendous and traumatic they are. But a child will really break things down simply, and you are growing with them through their perspective. And it's just so much more interesting told through a child coming into adult as opposed to just an adult describing their experiences. You know what I mean? When you're in poverty, socioeconomics is something that you are very well versed in, even if you're not educated on it, just by the experience that you are living. You are sharply aware of the way that your situation has left you out of certain privileges, basic necessities, things in the world that like other people just would have to be told about. You are experiencing them. Impoverished, dysfunctional families, I think firsthand, are typically very familiar with the ways that class, sexism, racism, overall like privilege, socioeconomics impacts the world. I enjoy the way that the observations are made because they're so well informed. It's tragic and it's horrible, but it's so well informed as to how our world functions. One of the things that stands out to me so clearly about this book is just that it's very fascinating when one dysfunctional person finds their match made in hell. Because it's like, how did you guys come together and make your own version of dysfunctional hell together, and like and not one of them is morally or ethically right. Like, they are both feeding into the dysfunction, the hell of their life and their relationship, and they're enjoying it. They thrive off of it. The two parents, I gotta go. Hold on a second. I am getting to know my mic, so I wish I had it with me. If you hear my neighbors, please God, forgive me, please God. One like does in fact equal one prayer. I appreciate you. So I do have notes on this, like on my computer. It is that serious to me. I have so many thoughts on this book because it is so good. Okay, so I think I was saying that like it's incredibly interesting to me that two people can find each other, be incredibly dysfunctional, be on the same page about how unstable their lives are going to be, and just bring a bunch of children into this world and just to like feed that fire. And both of them are like, this is fine. Like, it's okay if our children never have a permanent address. They're fine. And I do relate to a lot of this. It's hard for me not to just simply project onto the books that I like because I see a lot of my own life experiences in them. But I'm going to try really hard to differentiate my experience to this because this is, not only are they incredibly different, but I want to give the book its proper analysis outside of my own like experience. Okay, so reading about instability to me feels very familiar because I never lived anywhere for more than like 4 years when I was growing up. But a lot of the instability that I'm seeing, a lot of the conversations that these people are having, and these people are 10 times more unstable than I ever was, but the like basics, the roots of the instability is something that I feel like I am deeply identifying with. And like even one of the things that is mentioned is Jeanette is talking about how something negatively impacted her, and she was telling her mom about it, and she was complaining, and then the mom like looked at her very sternly, and Jeanette specifically wrote, I wish I like screenshotted this or something. I wish I wrote this quote down. It was like, I'd broken mom's one rule, to pretend that everything was not fine, to act like our life wasn't just some magical adventurous roller coaster, to like be realistic. I'd broken the one rule. In my childhood, I feel like I was made to feel in similar ways in which Jeanette was made to feel, which is that this is the like function of the family, which is very unstable, but you need to be at peace with it and recognize that like instability is not a negative. But it's like, no. A lot of people were telling me that they read this book in high school. How were people reading this in high school? I know we read a lot of things in high school that expose us to stories that are mature, and it's good to talk about it within the setting of a classroom, but there was one page that there was one page that I took a picture of that I was like, I just can't imagine myself at like 15 reading this. Dad stuck his head out the window as he drove, hollering at mom, calling her a stupid whore and a stinking cunt. And ordering her to get back in the car. Mom refused. She was ahead of us, bobbing in and out of the desert brush. I'm realizing that after I said stinking cunt, I didn't need to say anything else. I just can't imagine being in a high school class having to analyze this. I would have liked to maybe see what that would have been like, but I just think it's incredibly interesting. This book is incredibly hilarious in a way that is not explicit. Like, one of the things that was said from the neighbors was like, one of the neighbors' dad is like an incredibly embarrassing drunk, and the kid was like, their neighbor kid was like laughing at the dad because he had passed out and like pissed himself. And the neighbor kid had like brought Jeanette to his house to be like, look, my dad pissed himself. And then Jeanette is like, you're not supposed to laugh at your own father, ever. And I feel like that also provided so much detail and context, because this whole entire story is just their dad and mother creating these crazy scenarios, and nobody really, I mean, Jeanette's really not filling us in on like how ridiculous and hilarious this whole thing is, because she's just telling us how she observed it as not ridiculous, not chaotic. She's just saying for it for what it is, and it's up to the reader to kind of read how ridiculous and crazy this is, because you're not supposed to laugh at your own father ever. Like, God, I just love this book. I love this book. Oh my G, you guys. New word alert, pilfering. Context: her family was stealing small little things and they excused it as pilfering. Pilfering is the act of stealing things of small value, usually in small quantities or amounts over a period of time. My husband and I are about to watch Up. I'm not mentally prepared for the beginning scene. God, the opening scene. If I don't cry, I'm a G. I love playing the piano. I would never call myself a piano player, because I don't think I'll ever get there to where I'll be able to brag about my skill. Not in like a humble way, but kind of just like I have undiagnosed learning disabilities that made it difficult for my piano instructor to like patiently teach me. When I was learning piano back in college, because I had to take it as a course, I just fell in love with it. And it's just nice to watch like a nice little Disney movie and to be inspired to learn the song. And because it's kind of simple, you can do it. I love that aspect of like learning things as an adult, is you can do it at your own pace. I love that.
Okay, while I'm actually cleaning my piano because there's glitter from my cat that got in the speaker and it's messing with the quality. Let's talk about Misconnection by Miss Tia Williams. So, this book, if you know nothing about it, is centered on our protagonist. Her name is Sasha. Sasha has been a little bit of a shut-in these past couple of years. She went through something traumatic that is not really revealed until like midway through the book. But in the beginning, you're kind of thinking like, oh, COVID affected her. It made her more of an isolated person. She hasn't really gone out to make friends or date, really. But she stumbles across this guy, this very charming, sexy guy, on her way to a work trip in France. She's a casting director. Don't know why I didn't say that till now. And she hits it off with him. They get a little bit too tipsy. They forget to exchange information, aka they're a missed connection. Oh my God. I thought in the beginning, because I'm very introverted, that I would really relate to Sasha, but I ended up kind of hating her at the at the middle and then into the end because I just find a lot of her actions to be very unrelatable to me. The way that she tries to go about finding him, she tries to send an email to this one person off of like her work list, and she ends up sending it to her whole entire company, like spanning multiple countries. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed about it. They respond positively to her story, and she's like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I would have been like, I love this attention, like this accidental email I sent that like is turning up to be something that people are loving. Oh my God. And they could also help me find this guy. Oh my God, that's a TikTok story waiting to happen, a Netflix documentary waiting to be made. But yeah, I just don't like the things that she's doing. So in order to find this guy, she hires a private detective that she's had the hots for a while. And basically it's one of those like forbidden love things because she's looking for her love, and trying to track him down, but falling in love with the private investigator, of course. And they make a bunch of middle school ass decisions that I just am like, oh my God. So that's the premise of that.
Here are my final thoughts. Okay. Let's just get the misconnection out of the way because the cover did match with the story. I didn't like it. I didn't like either of them. And that should have been a sign to me. You know, they say don't judge a book by its cover. That's the only thing you can do when you're picking them up. Maybe don't judge a book by its author. Sure, that has merit to me. But I knew from the minute that I saw this book it was demented. It wasn't right. So, okay, let me get into the things that I liked about this book, of which there are few. I liked the premise being that it was a romance and kind of a mystery. It had kind of like thriller aspects to it. So, of course, Sasha, like I already told you, Sasha is trying to find this guy, seat F, that she sat next to, and she hires a private investigator. The thriller part kind of comes into play when you're figuring out why Sasha knows this private investigator. It's because she hired him to work on a previous case, and you're going back and forth between present and past, and trying to figure out like what was the case, and then you're realizing why she's such a recluse is because of that previous case and because it messed her up so bad. And then Wes, but I mean, let me not even get into things I don't like. I'll just say that I liked the mystery of why she's in this position currently. I thought that was it, like left me wanting a little bit more. I feel like things actually heated up when you realize like, oh, she was kind of being stalked a little bit. She was kind of in a predicament that we get to know a little bit more about. I like that, as opposed to it just being in the present day. If it was just the present day, this would have been a strong DNF for me. Okay, so I'm trying to rate romance books off of like cringe factor because I typically find romances very cringy, but I'm going to try to define the specific reasons. Okay, so I have my cringe factor off of my last couple videos. So I rated the cringe based off of like the corny Disney Child dialogue. Does it have corny Disney Child dialogue? Overdone tropes, and then predictability. This one had all three. Of course it did. The Disney Channel dialogue was so annoying to me. God. Bear with me because I'm not editing this. So I'm going to try to be as concise as I can. But like I wrote down some of the things that were said in this book that I was just like literally at multiple moments, because I read this on audio through Spotify. At multiple moments I'd stop and I'd be like, "Oh my God. Oh my God, that was the stupidest thing ever. I'm reducing my time down to listening to this.
Like at one point they're at, it's like the forced proximity trope of like, I'm taking this guy who I'm interested in, but we can't like reveal our feelings to each other, to this like event where we both have to get dressed up and we both have to look really sexy, and so we're both acknowledging that we're sexy to each other. Whatever. They're both at this event where they both are like drooling over each other, but they can't like say anything. And somebody's being disrespectful to Wes, and Wes was like, "Do you want to get out of here?" And they got out of there. And one of the things that was said that reminded me of such Disney Channel, even though it's like very much adult, was like, he took my hand and we got the entire fuck out of there. What? Ew, the entire fuck out of there. I just felt like, God. One of the times where somebody's kissing, Sasha says, or Wes says, she whimpered in, or somebody says, she whimpered into his mouth, his sinful fucking mouth. This one really took the cake for me. So Sasha's basically calling Wes out on his jealousy, because at some point they kind of do realize like, oh, we got feelings for each other, but she's loyal to this man that she knew for 6 hours, so it's making things difficult. Like she really didn't fall in love with Wes because she was like basically saying like, no, I have to stay loyal for this guy who I met sporadically. He could be literally anyone. He could be a rapist. But I have to stay loyal to him because we had an undeniable connection at our one conversation. So, Wes is basically getting jealous and she calls him out on the jealousy. And he verbatim says, I'm not jealous. I'm perplexed. I'm fucking baffled. Because if I were him on that flight and you were looking up at me with that face and those eyes and that smart little mouth and that stitched together toughness barely masking vulnerability, you would be left knowing a lot more than my name. I swear. Like, how do you take anything about that seriously? Like, I don't know. There's just something about really corny, overdone spice, whatever scenes of like passion. Like, it feels like middle school grade passion, where you're like, there's no way an adult person wrote this for other adult people. Okay. Sorry if you take offense to any of this. I really am. Like, I'm not saying anything about you. I'm saying the way that I felt about it. If you take it personal, that's on you. But trust me, I'm not speaking about you. Anyway, so the second thing I rated it for is overdone tropes. They had so many little tropes in here that I was like, I've seen this. I think I've seen this scene before, like 2,000 times. Predictable, yeah, you see exactly what's coming at the end. You know what's going on. I just didn't like this book, dude. I didn't like either of our main characters, Sasha or Wes. Wes was an unprofessional fool with anger issues, by the way, who needs to go to therapy. He's the type of like romance character where it's like, I have a past, I'm troubled, you don't want me. And then he shows us every single reason why that's true. And it's like, you can't do the whole pity party now because you just told us anyway. So Sasha also, I'm just like, she's all up in Wes's business and like how he's trying to conduct the case. And she's also like, they like get together a little bit, and then also she at one point she kind of like harasses him. She's having like a panic attack, and like basically to get out of the panic attack, to soothe herself, she does like this. She basically, I can't get into it, but I say that she kind of assaults him. But because they're attracted to each other, it's fine. And that's why I hate popular contemporary romance books, because they just really feel like the audience is middle school for real. Yeah, like the jealous rage also, there's so much jealous rage in this that just was not appealing. It felt very childish. I don't know if it's just me in contemporary popular like romance that I just can't do it, or like people just love consuming garbage and making it popular. I swear I don't know. Anyway, let's get into the Glass Castle because I would like to finish this. So, I loved the Glass Castle. My heart rate is slowly going down thinking about how much
I enjoyed my time reading this. This book was perfect for, I didn't even rate the last one. Sorry. Because I really don't want people to be mad at my rating. This was honestly like this is like I'm going to be generous and say a 2. Cuz I at least finished it. Like I feel like I really can't even ever rate a book a 1 because a 1 is just like simply I didn't even give it the time of day to let it get to the end. So but honestly, I know I can do it. I'm doing a 1. Oh my god. No, we're fine. I'm giving that a 1, dude. I did not like it. That's crazy. Sorry, back to The Glass Castle. The Glass Castle, this book was perfect for my taste. It was catered exactly to me. There are a couple things that I like when I look for books. Grief, and that had it. Social commentary, absolutely up the wall. What the heck? And this is also a memoir, too. Like, this is catered to my taste, but this is off of a real person's life. But it hit everything for me. Thrill, oh my god, I did not know what was gonna happen next. Anything could have happened in this. Humor and introspection. So humorous, the most introspective. Like, I don't rate nonfiction anymore because it just feels like I really don't want to have that on my hands. So I just will say this was the perfect book. This was just the perfect book. Unfortunately, it came at the expense of Jeanette's life. But hey, sometimes we get perfect books. And it makes it worth it. Just kidding. That I really highly recommend everyone who told me about this when I was doing my first little free library hunt. Y'all were right. You and your mother were all correct about this book being phenomenal. I appreciate you guys getting through this video. If you could give this a like, comment your favorite book, comment your most recent read that you're reading right now. If you read anything that I was reading, let me know. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is. I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or night.